Hello, welcome to the Two-Piece Podcast, where two very different people compare and contrast their top fives on a variety of topics. This week, we're going over our top 5 worst restaurant experiences. From the gross things we found in our food, to getting sick in the parking lot, and perhaps a story about a man wetting his pants. Sadly, yes, we've had some very awful restaurant experiences. So stick around, this should be a fun one. Oh, and don't worry, we will be name-dropping these restaurants as well. All right, let's get going.
Hello, welcome to the Two-Piece Podcast. I'm Steph.
Are you welcoming me or our listeners?
Both.
Because you're looking directly into my soul saying, welcome.
Well, welcome
Thanks.
to the podcast time with me.
It is. It's always a fun time doing this podcast with you.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
Apologies in advance. As of recording this, or while we're recording this, it's storming outside.
Yeah, so you may hear some thunder.
So I should have the equipment set up to where you don't hear it, but I can't guarantee anything.
If it's really loud, maybe. There's lightning at the window.
Or if we lose power.
Oh, great.
That wouldn't be fun.
That would not be fun. Not at all. Well, so today's topic is our top 5 worst restaurant experiences. Who was this suggested by? Do you remember?
This was suggested by, suggested by our great friend Pinata Time.
Aw, thanks, Pinata.
He's the animator. He animated he drew our symbols, our characters.
Our symbols.
Or I'm having trouble with words today, I don't know why.
He did our branding.
He did our branding. So go check out Pinata Time over on YouTube.
Yeah. And you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at the Two-Piece Pod. We're also on a YouTube now. We were just talking about that.
We're also on a YouTube now.
We're on a YouTube.
We're on the YouTube. Yeah, definitely check those out. Do all that stuff. That'd be great. And let us know what other top 5s you'd like for us to do. If you're new to the show, what makes this interesting is that Steph and I, we are a couple, and we're very different from one another. And we don't tell each other what our top 5s are going to be until we hit record. So we know what the topic is, but we don't know what the other person's going to say. And it's really fun to uncover it and learn about each other along the way. And we usually like to add a little educational element too. So there's always something to learn. So I believe Steph this week has something prepared for this. So this is for, once again, our top 5 worst restaurant / kind of fast food experiences. So what do you have to bring to the table for our little learning segments today?
Well, I'm going to say, first of all, I did not keep it to fast food.
I said restaurant / fast food.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're saying the same thing.
Okay. So, so I am going to, in between some of our different numbers, I'm going to just share some stats about cleanliness at the restaurants. We had talked about sharing report cards, restaurant report cards and stuff on here and talking about that, but I think these stats will be a little more interesting around cleanliness in the restaurants.
Yeah, because we've all been to a dirty restaurant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I look at when the restaurant scorecards come out or whatever, I always look at them because I think, what if I'm going to one that scored a 70? I'm not going back.
You're going to think I'm being negative, but I promise you that's partially because of where you live. No, granted, that's important to do anywhere, but I was going to say this, is that it was hard for me to come up with my list. I've just been fortunate to not have had that many, I guess, poor restaurant experiences. I consider that a privilege, I guess. And I had a feeling that Steph was just going to have so many. I just had a feeling. And she said that she's got honorable mentions too. So
I do.
I forgot. Did we agree? Yeah, we did. We're going to share the name of the places. We thought about it. We weren't sure. Should we share it? Should we not? But we decided, you know what? We're not going to specify which locations or anything like that. We don't owe them anything. They don't owe us anything other than decent service when we're there.
Our experience.
So, yeah, they give us a poor experience. So people leave reviews. This is really no different than that. So I think it's okay to do that.
Okay. So I can kick us off with my number 5. I'm kind of in the moment right now thinking about switching it with an honorable mention.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I just realized, though, that this number 5 that I have, it didn't happen physically at a restaurant. So Are all of yours physically at restaurants?
Well, because of just the nature of me not having that many poor experiences to begin with, mine are kind of all over the place anyway, so don't worry about
Okay, well then I'm
that.
going to leave my 5 as where it is as 5. Okay. I just didn't, because that's my only one. My number 5 is
Sure.
my only one that's not physically at a restaurant. And so I didn't want that to be like, oh, that doesn't count.
Right before you do that, that's okay. But right before you do that,
Thank you for your permission. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. You're welcome. It's my show.
Clearly.
No, I'm just curious to paint this picture for everybody listening. On a scale of 1 to 5, okay, 1 being I don't care, 5 being I'm a stickler about this. How stickler are you about service at a restaurant? Like if somebody does something a little off, like maybe not like the food, maybe there's not like a cockroach in your food, right? But like say maybe the waitress or waiter is not really great with filling up your water, for example, or things like that. How much does that affect you from 1 to 5, 5 being the most affected by it? Like, are you kind of forgiving? Or are you more on the stickler side of it? There's not a right or wrong. I'm just curious where you stand with it.
Are you asking me or our listeners?
I'm asking you, so our listeners know.
I'm sorry. This is your show, so I wasn't sure.
Right, it's okay. You can speak now.
Oh, my gosh. What a little snooty snot.
You're so innocent. What a little snooty snot. What the heck is that?
I don't know.
Just call me a son of a bitch and move on.
No, I'm not calling you that. I'd never call you that.
All right.
I'd say internally, I'm a 4. But when it comes to vocalizing it, it's probably like a 2.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, I would agree with you on your assumption or your assessment of yourself.
Okay.
For me, I am just really externally and internally probably a 1.5 to a 2. And that's just because I'm not confrontational. In my head, I really don't think much
It
of it.
doesn't bother you in your head? You know, it does because we went to that. I don't know if it's on your list or not. It might be, so I'm not gonna.
Don't say the
I
restaurant.
won't say it.
Yeah.
But we had an incident at a restaurant together one time, and it really bothered you. You still talk about it to this day about the service.
Oh my gosh. I just thought of one that needs to go on my list.
Well, you better hurry up.
And I don't even know. I'll think about that as you're going.
Okay.
You
better
oh my
hurry
gosh,
up.
that's great. So, well, I guess maybe I would say internally it's a 3, and then
I think that's more
externally it's a 2.
I think it's more accurate.
Overall, I'm pretty forgiving, even if there's like something in my food. Here's one. Let me specify, because now I definitely need to specify on that one.
Do. Yes, you do.
I'm saying like if there's like, because I wasn't thinking of like a hair or something. I meant more like if there's like sometimes you'll get like a piece of food that's not supposed to be in your food,
like a tater tot
like
in your
why
fries.
Something like that. And I'm going, you know what? Because if you think about it too long, you go, something went wrong here. But if you don't think about it, it's fine. I usually just don't think about it when that happens.
This is very interesting.
This is interesting, but
My brain
okay.
doesn't work that way.
Well, listen, either way, let us know at the 2-Piece Pod on Twitter or on Instagram in a comment. Or on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, you can leave a comment. Let us know.
1 to 5.
Well, not just your 1 to 5. What I was more curious about is let us know that at least one of your.
Well, I'm curious about when they're 1 to 5.
Well, tell Steph that, but then tell me on my show.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. But tell us what your if you have a standout bad restaurant experience, we'd love to know.
Yes.
But with that.
Okay, my number 5. So this is a pretty quick one. My Nana was in town, and me, my mom, and my Nana were eating, and I think it was in like it might have been in 2020 or 2021 or something. So we ordered DoorDash, and we ordered Panera from DoorDash. And you know, DoorDash can be more expensive. Panera's kind of expensive anyway, kind of. And the whole order I think was like $60, and like we all got like the choose to whatever. So we get everything, we're putting it on plates, and getting ready to eat. And my Nana had ordered, she wanted like a roast beef sandwich or whatever, something like that. I wouldn't eat that though, but that's what she got. So she opened she took a bite, and she like made a face and we looked at her and she was like, this is just bread. And then she opened it up and there was like a string of cheese and like one little sliver of roast beef meat on there. Anyway, and so, but anyway, that was a bad experience. It was really frustrating because you spend $60 to $60 in an hour waiting on the food, and then it gets there and there's the freaking sandwich is not a sandwich. It's like bread with a half a side of a sliver of meat.
That's an interesting point that you make, like the money part of it.
Yeah, but I'm really quick. What are you gonna do about it? It's DoorDash. You can't, and we're not. I'm not driving 20 minutes to Panera to take the sandwich and then 20 minutes back with a new. Like I'm not doing that. That's an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing you can do. You just have to accept it and move on.
That's true. Because I mean, you can go to Panera and you can do all that, but do you really want to at that point? Like.
And it's through DoorDash, so they're probably going to tell you anyway. Usually, you know, they're like, well, it's through DoorDash. We can't do anything about it.
But it's funny because I was just going to mention the money thing. Like, that's a good chunk of money. So sure. But would it have been slightly different if you spent less money? Like, less of a big deal?
No. Well.
This is just another thought that I just had.
I think, no, it wouldn't have been less of a big deal if it was less money. I think that the money spent just added to the frustration.
So you just added that to the...
Yeah, it just added
It was your selling point for this.
Yeah. But I don't think that it would have... Because it's still frustrating. Regardless, you're paying a restaurant money and you're purchasing food.
You expect to get what you ordered. And that basically wasn't what you ordered. Basically.
No.
So...
So, yeah.
Our lists are going to be kind of interesting.
Uh-huh.
I don't have much to say about that.
Did you have time to add yours in?
Yes, I already added mine in.
Cool.
So I guess I'll go to my number 5 if that's okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
On my show.
Oh, it's your show. I see.
It's my show.
I see.
It's my show, actually. Yeah, go to your number 5.
So my list, once again, is kind of going to be all over the place. They may not be as traditional of answers as you may expect. And I really had to rack my brain a little bit. Like, what bad restaurant experiences have I had? Like, we've all had times where it's like, okay, maybe the waitress or waiter didn't know what they were talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you recommend on the menu? And they're like, I don't know. You got that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. But, so here's mine.
Wait, really quick. When you just said, I want to interrupt you and tell you this because I think it's funny.
Okay.
When you just said you had to rack your brain a little bit, I envisioned your ending little animation for your Jam and Chat of you sweeping in your brain. And that and that was you racking your brain and thinking about what experiences do I have, and you're sitting there sweeping dust in your brain.
Speaking of brains, yours is quite the study.
I thought it was funny.
Let me tell you, yours is quite the study.
I thought it was a funny visual. That's what you do in your brain. You sweep the dust.
You sweep it off.
Yep. Anyway, okay. What's your number 5?
You're lucky you're cute, I guess.
You're just full of compliments, aren't
I
you?
am, aren't I? Well, you know what? I've been complimenting you a lot on this podcast lately, so I guess it's time to turn it around again.
I guess.
I'm just kidding. No, that was funny. Speaking, that is a shout out to the Jam and Chat too. Check that out. Improv show. I recently did an episode where I wrote songs with AI tech with Chat GPT.
Yeah, it
did the
really
lyrics
cool.
for me. It was fun. Anyway, I'm just kidding stuff. All right. So my number 5 is pretty loose. Like, some people may not even consider this to ever put this on their list, but number 1, I hate onions. I hate them. I don't want them. I call them the devil's fruit. Get them out of my life, right? No, listen, I understand. Like, they're in so many things. Like, they're used to cook stuff. I get it, okay? I've tasted onion before, but the best stuff that has onion in it, I never taste it, right? Sure. Okay. I'm not an idiot. That being said, my number 5 comes with a story. So I don't have the name of the restaurant. This was in Tennessee. This was in East Tennessee. And it was at just like this little hole-in-the-wall Chinese restaurant. Okay. This is when I was visiting my friend Nick. Hayden was with me too. I think I told you about this.
Yeah, you did. I know the story.
So he said, let's just go to this Chinese place. I like it. It's just cheap Chinese food. Okay, great, fine, right? So we go in there and the three of us sit down and they get their food and I usually get I always like kung pao shrimp. I always get or kung pao chicken. I usually get that, or I'll do what most American Chinese restaurants call a happy family, which is basically like a suicide bowl. It's got like everything in it, right? You know that. I call it the happy family.
Yeah.
I decided to go a little different. I was on a vacation at the time. I thought, I want to just live a little bit, and I'm going to order something different this time. And I got the Mongolian shrimp, right? There was no descriptions. It just said Mongolian shrimp, and I thought, I love shrimp. Mongolian shrimp is just shrimp and onions. Nothing else. No noodles, no rice, just shrimp and onions. Like cooked onions, like on a skillet. I could not believe it. And guess what? The two in me stuck in there, and it was like, I'll just eat the shrimp and I'll be fine. So I just had shrimp. Maybe there were noodles with it too.
I bet they tasted oniony, though.
Kind of, but it was like really fresh. It didn't taste that oniony.
Okay, well, that's good.
So at least I liked the shrimp, but there was more onion than shrimp because there's like little onion slivers. That's all it was. I swear there was no other vegetable. It was just onion and shrimp. It was a bad restaurant experience
serves
for me.
you right.
Serves me right. What, for taking a chance?
Yeah.
But moral of the story, never take a chance.
Always eat Chick-fil-A.
Ugh, no, don't do that. We just had that for dinner.
And it was good.
The salad
Wasn't
was
it?
good. I always
Yeah.
get the Southwest salad. It's
Yeah.
good.
He thought it was spicy this time, though.
Well, anyway, so
I think that's funny. I remember that story. And I remember, I feel so bad for you because I know that sucks, but also I kind of thought it was really funny.
because it's like, of course, he takes a chance and he gets
And he gets shrimp on the bed of onion.
because she knows, like Steph knows, I'm not picky. I just don't like onions.
Onion. I know. I've picked onions out of your fried rice before.
She has.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'll eat just about anything. There's a couple rare exceptions, but for some reason that just
That's funny. I'm so sorry.
So,
it's unfortunate, but
shout
it's
out-
hilarious.
shout out to that Chinese restaurant, not a sponsor.
Oh gosh. Okay, well, I don't have too much. I mean, that's all I had to say about that one.
That's
but,
okay.
You want to go? I'll go to my number 4, and you do know your number 4, and then I'll share some stats.
Okay.
Okay. So, my number 4, I titled it on my list, "Vegetarian Fake Out."
Oh no, the plot thickens.
Isn't that kind of punny though? Like instead of takeout, it's fake out.
That's not really a pun, I don't think, is it? Isn't that just more like wordplay humor?
Well, okay, then that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Vegetarian fake out instead of vegetarian takeout. Ha ha ha. Get it? It's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
You liked it better than the original, I guess. Before I told you it was.
Yes, I
funny.
agree.
Okay. Anyway.
Man, Steph's just nailing it with these jokes tonight.
No, I'm not. Clearly, he told me earlier when we were eating Chick-fil-A, and I said something that I thought was funny, and he was like, "Man, I miss when you used to be funny."
Yeah, I said something like that.
I know. How rude.
Go back to eating my food.
Oh my gosh. No, he was kidding.
And that was funny.
Well, I didn't think so.
I know.
Anyway. No, we're joking. Okay, so I recently visited my friend in California. And so she is a vegetarian, and we actually went to Disneyland for a day, and then she's been in San Diego temporarily. So I went to visit her in San Diego after that. But while we were in the Disneyland area, we were looking for, there was one, the night we went to Disneyland and we left, late afternoon, and we went back to the room and kind of hung out for a little bit. And then we were hungry. So we're like, we're going to go find somewhere to eat. So we did some research about local restaurants that had good vegetarian options. And we found this restaurant that looked really good. And I even called and said hey, how busy are you? Cause you're in near LA, near San Diego, it gets pretty busy. So, and they were like, yeah, we're open. We're just come in anytime. There's no wait, blah, 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 blah. So we drive down there and we find parking, which is crazy in California. So we find parking, and then we have to walk a couple blocks to the restaurant. So we walk to the restaurant, and it's this little tiny restaurant that has some tables outside, but it was a little chilly. And so we went we wanted to sit inside. So we asked the guy, we were like, hey, just two of us. And he said, oh, let me clean off this table for you. Okay. So we sat outside in like a little bar area and just waited. So we're sitting there and we waited. And it was about 10 more minutes. And he passed by and he goes, oh, I got to do that table. I got to do the table. Let me clean it off. I'll be right back. Okay, another 15 minutes. He walks by. Oh, I got to do the table. We sat there waiting for 30 minutes for this table that was empty when we got there to be cleaned off so we could sit. Okay.
Wow.
We're both hungry. Okay, too. Like, we were both
Well, sure,
really
you're
hungry.
going to eat. Of course you're hungry.
Well, yeah, but it's not like, oh, we're going to start heading that way because we're a little hungry. Like, we were on the verge of hangry.
Uh-oh.
We're
Fear
hungry.
the wrath.
Yeah, we were hungry. And so we wait 30 minutes for this table. And again, people were gone when we got there. He just needed to clean it off. And it wasn't that busy. Like, it's a small restaurant. There are 4 tables in there. Like 4 tables in this restaurant. Okay. So finally he cleans it off and he sits at the table and he came back to get the drink orders and like Taylor ordered a drink. And then while she was ordering her drink, she said, I just have a question. Because on the menu, I see you have vegetarian noodles. Do you have anything
You
else
told me about this.
besides vegetarian noodles? And he said, well, actually, that's not even really vegetarian.
What?
Yeah, on the menu listed as vegetarian noodles, not vegetarian.
Why is it called vegetarian?
Well, I don't know, because he said there's vegetables in it. But he said, actually, we cooked the noodles in, I don't remember, some kind of like meat broth.
Yeah.
Or something. And so she was like, okay, well, I can't do that. I can't eat that, do you have anything vegetarian? And he literally said, well, I could bring you some bread and butter. And we thought, we were like, we're getting the heck out of here.
Okay.
And so we got up and we just said, no, we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I think he legitimately felt bad.
I'm
He's
sure
like,
he
I'm
did.
really sorry. Well, yeah, but like, what an insult to be like, I can bring you bread and butter. Like, who wants that for dinner? Nobody. You should just say, no, we don't have any vegetarian
Well, I have an argument to that.
entrees on our menu.
I have an argument to that. But I mean, I get it because I think his intentions were good. He was just trying to provide any solution he could to keep your business.
I understand that, but
I'm not saying it's good.
He felt bad, but still, why have something on the menu that's called vegetarian something if it's not vegetarian?
Right, that's
you don't
the
do
issue.
That.
That's the problem.
You don't
because
do
what
that.
if there's somebody who's just assuming that it is?
Well, so that's what. And
no one asked questions.
And we had that conversation. This place is not on my list, but it was another place we went in California, and we went. It was a ramen place, and she asked about, I think, some kind of vegetable tempura or whatever she was gonna get, and she said, "Is this vegetarian?" And the guy goes, "No, it's not. This is a different restaurant." Okay, but the guy goes, "No, it's not vegetarian, but it is vegan." And she said, "Well, how is it vegan and not vegetarian?" And he goes, well, we cook it in the same batter as the shrimp. Like, we fry it in the same batter as the shrimp. And she goes, that's not even vegan. That's not anything. And he goes, oh, so like people don't, it's so stupid. And we had that conversation. She's like, half the time I'm sure I've eaten things that are cooked on the same grill as meat or in the same oil or whatever. She's like, because if you don't ask, they don't tell you.
Right. Yeah.
And you just don't know. But she said, but that's the risk you take by being a vegetarian and eating out.
That sounds about right.
So.
Dang.
I know.
That's a bad restaurant experience.
Vegetarian fake out.
There she is again, closing it out with the same joke. I think it's funny.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I think I'm just gonna move on to my number 4 because I'm not a vegetarian.
Well, move on then.
My number 4 takes place at a local restaurant. We currently reside in Memphis, Tennessee. And it's actually at a place that you and I both like. It's a burger place called Huey's. If you ever in the Memphis, Tennessee area, go to Huey's if you want a good burger. It's by far the best local burgers you can get.
Was I with you for this experience?
Yes. In fact, this is what I added to the list.
Oh, I was thinking of something else.
Okay, well then we'll talk about that later.
Oh, I know. Remember now.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I thought of. So there's actually another story. Is this tied to the story with the Beatles shirt?
Yes.
This is the same day. So if you listen to just a couple episodes ago, I don't think it was that long ago.
He talked about he cried because he told that guy at Kroger that
my dad was his age and he took it and like, what, he calling me old sort of face?
And then he walked around and
I got
teared up in
emotional.
Kroger.
Yeah, I didn't like break down and cry, but I teared up.
So only
it was
reason
rough.
we were in Kroger is because we were on a waiting list for Huey's.
Yeah.
And so we went to Kroger to get some, I think, thank you cards that you haven't sent out
that
yet.
I'll never send out. But yeah, it's weird how this is on the same day. So here's what happened. So we are at Huey's, it's a burger place. Really good burgers. The food is always great, and usually the service is just fine too. It's great. And I won't specify which one if there's any Memphis locals listening to this. But the one that you and I went to, our chair was next, like our seats were next to the bar. Now, this is a loud restaurant in general. It's like a sports bar kind of. You know what I mean? They got the TVs going, they got games playing, they got people talking, there's music going. It's not meant to be quiet, but there's a difference between like a restaurant lively atmosphere, bar and grill kind of atmosphere versus just obnoxious. And something obnoxious was happening to the left of us. And I remember the location. So so we were right next to people sitting at the bar, which usually isn't an issue, but this time it was a girl that worked there. I think she was on the clock, and she was just like, but she was like tending bar, but it was like slow.
Was she?
She worked for Huey's.
Well, I know, but I thought maybe she'd just gotten off.
Maybe she just got off work. Either way,
we didn't ask.
It was her. There was somebody working there, and then a guy sitting at the bar.
Yeah, he was
There
like
was
a
3 people.
customer.
And he was a customer. And the way that this girl would laugh, it was so loud and obnoxious, and it genuinely affected both of our experiences. It wasn't just mine. It affected yours too.
Because we couldn't converse over that noise.
Because think about that. I just explained it's a noisy atmosphere already. And then this girl is laughing on top of it. It was so, and you know, like when you like focus on something and then it really gets annoying because you're focusing on it. I started to do that.
Well, here's the thing too, though. Her laugh was like screechy and super loud and super high pitched. And so, we thought we kind of made up a story, you know, too. We think she was flirting with a guy sitting at the bar.
Yeah, we had a whole story.
Yeah. So I think her laugh, you know, like when you're flirting with somebody, like you laugh a little more than you normally would. And like
Steph used to laugh with me all the time.
Yeah, I used to. Yeah. No, I still do. And anyway, we think she was like laughing extra because she was trying to flirt with him.
That was annoying. So it does nothing to do with the food, but it's in a restaurant and it's still the experience and also she's responsible. I mean, she's an employee of that place. Like she works there.
Yeah, that was a little inappropriate that like that was happening in my opinion.
I agree.
But
they better. What was that noise? Did you hear that?
No.
Okay, just me. I'm hearing these noises. There's a storm going on, like I said earlier.
You wouldn't have known it, but we lost power during the vegetarian fake out story.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it because I edited it out. But yeah, we did lose power. So now I'm concerned that we're going to lose power again, or like a tree limb's going to fall into my window or something.
He's like, what's that noise?
What's that noise? Shoot, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. That's okay. If I get it back, I'll tell you. I guess that's it.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about some stats quickly before we move on to our number 3. So this is from jolt.com, but it's just some stats about restaurants. Mm-hmm, yeah, very. Restaurants and their cleanliness and how likely people are to go to them based off of that, basically.
So this is like surveying a bunch of people sort of thing? Okay.
Yeah. So basically, we all agree that we like restaurants to be clean and that when they're dirty and you go in to eat, you just don't have as good of an experience. Like even, okay, if you go into a dirty restaurant and even if the service is great, you're still not leaving there feeling like, oh yeah, I love this. I love this place. I'm going to come back. Because you notice the flies flying around or like dirty water on the floor or the moldy ceiling you know what I mean? And you
Sure.
just are like, yeah, what's going into our food in the back? What does it look like back there?
Right.
So a survey that was conducted in 2016 said that 66% of people are not willing to revisit a restaurant with bad food hygiene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
that's
that doesn't explain the service part. So, but yeah, because like if it's just average service and it's dirty, I mean, I'm probably not going to go back.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that was me. I added that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was my opinion. That was my
You
opinion.
didn't mention that part. You didn't mention that you're throwing your own opinions with these facts. Fake news,
Yeah,
Steph.
sorry. The percentages are facts.
I got you.
When I'm speaking, it's my opinion.
Okay.
Unless I sound like I'm reading, then it's
Right.
off of here. Okay. So 75% of people are unwilling to ever go back to a restaurant implicated in a food poisoning or a hygiene incident unless it has changed ownership. Now, that does not apply to you because you got food poisoning at Pearl's and you went back anyway.
Pearl's is a local oyster house, which is now closed. But,
So you're not in that 75%.
well, you know what's funny though? I just love oysters that much. No, but I'm actually surprised that it's not a higher percentage.
Yeah, only
So
75% are unwilling to go back if it's implicated in food poisoning or hygiene incident.
I'm surprised it's not a higher. Like that means 25% of people go, I'll give it a shot again, which I guess is me.
This was, I mean,
guess.
clearly. But this was done in 2016. So this is before COVID also. Because I
Yeah.
feel like through COVID, there was a huge increase in like need for cleanliness and focus on cleanliness.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I say I guess now, like during the pandemic, the peak of it, absolutely, yes. I know what you mean. There was
Yeah.
like a heightened new.
but I think that
everything's
it's
gotta be
even
clean.
extended post-COVID still. Like it's
Sure.
not to the extent that it was in 2020 or 2021, but it's still, I think things are generally held to and this is my opinion, generally held to a higher cleanliness standard now than in like 2016.
People are more aware of it. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I'm going to read now. So this is not an opinion. These statistics mean that 2/3 of people would be unwilling to return to a restaurant after one bad experience. So compare that to just 16% of customers saying they wouldn't return to a restaurant because of slow service.
Only 16.
Yeah. So they're more likely to try a restaurant. Basically what this is saying is that restaurant cleanliness is more important than the customer service, basically.
Oh, sure,
That
yeah.
if they have bad service, they'd more likely to come back and try it again. But if there's bad hygiene, cleanliness, then there's way less people who would try it again.
Which is funny when you think about it, because a lot of the times, because this
Funny hee hee or funny ha ha?
I'd say funny ho ho. So I'm talking Santa vibes. I would say, wow, that actually got her.
Oh my gosh, that was really funny.
Got him. A lot of the time, so everything that's in those statistics when it's talking about hygiene and cleanliness, you know, it's also involving like there's that little hair on the corner of your plate that's not going to hurt you. It's not
Yeah.
going to hurt you at all. Okay,
Yeah, but where did the hair come from?
that's not what I'm saying. I don't care.
What kind of hair is it?
Butt hair? I don't know, but
I
listen.
mean, really, you don't know.
But it's not going to hurt you. My point is,
I mean,
is
it
like,
might.
oh my God, just let me say my point. It's not going to, it is just a hair. You're going to be fine. And no, granted, it's gross, absolutely. So that's why people freak out about it. But it's funny because I feel like that's not going to hurt you. But if you're going to go back, even though you're going to get bad service, in the long run, you're going to get more and more of that. Like, the hygiene thing likely will happen to you once. I doubt it'll happen each time unless it's just a really nasty restaurant. Okay? I doubt there's going to be a restaurant you go to where you get a hair in it every single time. That just doesn't seem likely unless it's just a really terrible restaurant, in which case it'll be closed down.
So you're saying it's more likely to get bad service over and over again than it is to have a clean issue?
No, I'm saying I think it's funny according to the stats, or I think it's interesting that people are more more open to go back and get bad service again than they are to go. What am I? I'm wording it weirdly.
Yeah, because I don't necessarily agree. Because I think that Cleanliness has to do with hygiene and like health, where service is just like somebody was rude to you, which sucks, but like you'll get a different person next time.
But it's a hair. It's not a cockroach. No, granted, those things happen too.
Well, you don't know. Okay, look, it could be somebody's hair that's on their greasy head. They haven't washed their hair in 4 days and they have dandruff.
I'm just saying.
Do you really want that on your plate?
I guess I'm not in that 16% or whatever, because like if I have bad service, then I'm probably not going to go again.
But if you found a hair on your plate, you would.
If I found a hair on my plate, I would have them fix it and bring it back to me.
No, you wouldn't. You hate confrontation.
Well, it depends on the hair. See, I'm going back to what you said now.
Yep.
I guess I don't think I'm getting my point across very well, so I'm just going to kind of give up on it.
Aw,
I wasn't trying to prove you wrong, or I just don't want to waste time trying to explain it.
We're just having a discussion. We're just having a discussion.
No, I know. I don't know. I guess I'm just...
So you're saying I do see what you're saying.
I'm saying based on the stats, like it's interesting to me, especially considering most like cleanliness issues with your food are going to be the things that aren't actually going to harm you.
Well,
they're just gross,
and it's a like less occurrence than rude service.
Right.
Like you're less likely to have that. If you go back a second time, you're more likely to have somebody be rude to you again than you are to have another hair on your plate.
Right, and more people are willing to go back to the rudeness, which is more likely than people are to go back to the restaurant because they got something. There, we got there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. That makes sense. I understood what you were saying, but you're struggling, so I had to.
Let me clarify. I don't like hair in my food. Okay, I don't like it. So don't think that I do. Those are interesting stats, though.
I know. Yeah, it's something to think about.
Is it your number 3 or my number 3?
My number 3. Me.
Okay.
This happened when I was young. I was probably like, I don't know how old I was. Somewhere between 7 and 9 ish. But we were at Cracker Barrel.
God forbid, like it couldn't have been like 8, like you're 7 or 9.
No, 7 to 9. The range.
I think 7 to 9. I heard 7 or 9.
No,
sorry.
The range of 7 to 9.
Okay, it's a range. All right.
And we went to Cracker Barrel, and I think they still have those chairs. But if at Cracker Barrel, they have those wood chairs, and like the back of it is like
they're made of crackers.
No.
Oh.
No,
okay.
You've been to Cracker Barrel. You know that they're not made of crackers.
I've never been to Cracker Barrel. I'm just kidding. I have.
Yes,
I used to love playing the little like pin game.
I know. I was like, yes, you have.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've gone together.
No, we haven't.
On a trip to Ohio, we didn't go together?
Nope.
Huh.
We went to Bob Evans. I love Bob Evans.
Oh, yeah, we
way.
did go to Bob Evans.
Mm.
Okay, well, this story takes place in Cracker Barrel. And they have the wood chairs that have the rounded back, and then like it almost looks like a jail cell, like they
a jail sale. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Come on, Southern.
I'm
Woo!
so sorry.
Jail sale.
Jail cell.
There, good job.
Thank you. That was hard. That was hard for me to say.
I know it was.
They have like the wooden dowels that go vertically in the back of the seat, right? So I was little and I was bored waiting for my food or whatever.
Never a good start.
No. And I was sticking my arm with my elbow, bent my arm and had my elbow as a point, right? So I had my arm bent and I was sticking it in and out of those between those wood dowels or whatever in the chair. And I stuck it in there about one more time, and then I couldn't get it out.
Oh, no.
So my arm's bent, and it's stuck. And my mom was like, oh, my gosh. So she started freaking out because my arm's stuck in this chair. And our waitress or waiter, I don't remember exactly because I was so young, but all I remember is everybody seemed kind of panicky. And even people around us at other tables were like looking and trying to help and stuff. Yeah.
Just cut it. Just cut the chair if you have to.
Well, but they had to call the fire department and then they got to move everybody out and do all that stuff. So anyway, they went to the bathroom. If you remember at Cracker Barrel, they used to have, I don't know if they still do now, but they used to have hand soaps that smelled really good.
You're going to lube up your arm.
And then they had lotion next to it. Somebody went to the bathroom and got a lotion bottle. And that's exactly what they did. They came out and put lotion all over my arm and tried to get it out. It hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. Yeah, but I remember thinking, and my mom may tell the story differently because I don't remember if I cried the whole time or was just quiet. I remember being quiet because I was panicked and it hurt. And it hurt. No, and there were a lot of people around me and I didn't want to cry because I felt embarrassed. Like that's how I remember it. My mom may be like, you cried the whole time, but like in my mind, in my memory, that's what I remember. So anyway, they were very nice. They lotioned up my arm and we got it out, but it hurt. Anyway.
They lotioned up your arm and didn't even buy you dinner first.
No.
I guess they were going to give you dinner, though.
Yeah. So anyway, it was an experience. So that was not the restaurant's fault, but maybe with little kids, don't sit them in the chairs where they get their extremities stuck.
That's hilarious. That's good.
Did you know? You didn't know that story about me?
I never knew that story.
No.
Anyway, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, that story is a lot more fun than my story.
What's your story? Good transition there.
Thank you. My number 3, it's short. My number 3, I believe this took place with some friends. I know it was with friends. I think it takes place in Florida, I believe. This was probably...
Is this when you got your, like, 3rd-degree burn, sunburn?
No, that would have been just a couple years ago. So this was probably 2014, maybe 2015. Okay. So it was in my early 20s, and... we went to this restaurant. It looked like a pretty good place. And it had a really eclectic, strange menu. A lot of weird things on the menu. And there were some safe options, too. I can't remember what my friends got. There was like 5 or 6 of us. And I remember seeing potato pancakes with salmon. And I thought, I know what potato pancakes are, right? Like, they're not normal pancakes, you know. But I never had them before, but I know like they're just like these little fried things, right?
I don't know what they are.
So potato pancakes, we'd have to look it up and see for sure, but potato pancakes usually are like little fried, like they look like little potato scallops, and then you can put like different things in it. It's not sweet. It's like supposed to be kind of savory.
Okay.
Or sometimes it's also made of potato itself, right?
Yeah.
And it's fried. And I've never had it before, but somebody else at the table was like, oh, yeah, that's a combination. That's a thing. Because I was thinking, like, pancakes. Why would I want to put salmon on pancakes? That sounds gross, right? So anyway, everybody got their food, and I ended up taking a chance going, I want the potato pancakes. Let's give it a shot.
It's always when you take a chance.
I know, there's a lesson here. It's fun. I keep trying new things, and sometimes it just doesn't pay off. Everybody got their food, and I remember all of my friends raving about how much they liked their food, right? Meanwhile, I get my food. It is pancakes, legit pancakes, normal pancakes, cold, by the way,
Ew.
Not warm, with salmon on top of it. And the salmon, I think, was cold. Like it was supposed to be. I think. I just remember being so grossed out because these are like wheat pancakes. It was dry. And there was no like, there was a little bit of, not cream, but like some sort of thing you could like take with a knife, like a butter kind of thing. And you would like put it on the pancakes. But they weren't potato pancakes. They were pancakes made with pancake mix. So it was really dry because there was no syrup or any sort of like thinner liquid. It's like even if you just take butter and put it on a pancake for breakfast, but with no syrup, that's still dry. That's dry. With salmon. That's all the story is. But it was not a good meal.
That's gross.
And maybe I should have asked. This is an example where you don't ask. I didn't ask the waiter anything. I just was like, yeah, the potato pancake with salmon sounds good. Because I was thinking like this salmon with this fried potato bread stuff underneath it. That would be good. But it's just a dry, old, cold pancake. It's like 2 of them.
That's kind of gross.
It's a thing. It really happened. But then if you search, and all my friends, the one friend of mine that knew what potato pancakes were, he was like, that's just a normal pancake. I'm like, I know. Then why do they call it potato pancakes? It was weird. So if you ever Google, this is to you or the listener, like, Google potato pancakes, you're not going to find what I told you. I even typed in potato, just for this show, I typed in potato pancakes with salmon. Still didn't find what I had. So clearly they pulled some weird one on me.
That's weird. Where was it?
I can't remember the name of the restaurant. It was like a one-off restaurant somewhere in Florida. I can't remember
You don't remember
where.
the name? That's weird.
I'm
Did
sorry.
you eat it? You didn't waste the little salmon, did you?
I did not eat that meal.
Oh, you
I ate a
didn't?
little bit of the salmon, I think, but it was like cold too. Like it just wasn't good, and my mind was already set on how gross this is. So
Yeah.
like I couldn't get past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
It does suck. Thank you for
Yeah,
understanding.
that's a bad experience. And that's a hard one because it has nothing to do with service or cleanliness. It's just like,
It just well that's a trend now. It's with Mongolian shrimp and with the potato pancakes. 2 times I
I
just
know.
ordered something. I thought, well, why not?
well, there are times that you order something and it turns out good.
Yes, more times than not that does happen to me, but these are 2 times where it definitely did not.
Yeah. Well, that really does suck. I would have been kind of grossed out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it a breakfast place?
No, this was like lunch or
It's
like I think it might have been early dinner, like 4 p.m. or
That's so
something.
weird. That's so
Yeah.
weird. Well, my number 2.
You okay? You
Are you
forgetting how to
ready?
speak? Yeah.
No,
She's just going, well, yep.
I'm just
That
taking.
would suck.
I'm taking my time.
I guess she's taking her time.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase my
Okay.
number 2 story.
See, you haven't, and this is no fault of your own. You just haven't perfected the being able to talk while you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say.
No, I can't do
No?
that. No.
I've done that.
I'm sure you have. I
But-
don't do that.
but-
No. But there's so much that goes into this number 2
Okay.
that I was trying to figure out the correct order to explain
my Lord.
everything.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. So, this was at a sushi place. Not one that we've ever been to together because I will not be going back.
It's local, Memphis area.
There's multiple here.
Okay, okay.
So I don't know if it's a chain or
it's
if
local.
it's just like a chain local. I don't know.
I'm asking if you ate this local.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I said Memphis area. You said, well, it's a chain. I'm not sure if it's a chain.
I don't know if it's a local to here. Like it's
I'm just asking if you ate local.
yes.
Okay.
So my mom and I went and got this was before I knew you. My
Okay.
mom and I went and got sushi.
The happier days.
No. And
I'm just kidding.
we had never been to this place before and it had opened up pretty recently. And so we were like, let's try it. So we went to this place. And it was rock and roll sushi. Is what it was.
Oh, I've had that before.
Yeah. And we went there
I
and
think
we
that is
were
local.
okay. Well, so we went and we sat down at a table and it was just me and her. And we're getting our sushi, and she didn't love the sushi. I liked it, but she didn't love the sushi in general. She was like, everything was cold. Like even the fried, we got like a shrimp tempura roll, and even that like was cold. So it was, usually when you get a shrimp tempura roll, the shrimp is warm because they fry it and then they make the roll. So like everything was cold. She's just like, she just didn't like it. So it was a little rocky anyway. And then there was this man, because we were sitting right next to where you would walk through between like where they had the high top kind of bar area and then you would the bathroom. So there was a guy that walked by, and he walked by and we're eating, and then all of a sudden Mom looks at me and she goes, she has like the best nose of anybody that I know, and she like sniffed, and then she said, I smell like a dirty diaper. And I said, what? I said, that's ridiculous. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, I smell like, she's like a dirty nursing home. Like,
The way you're saying it, you're making it sound like your mom is saying she smells like it.
no,
I smell like a dirty diaper.
no,
That's
she
what
said,
you just
I
said.
smell like, okay, I get
You
how
keep
that,
adding the word like.
yeah.
She smells a dirty diaper.
She smells a dirty diaper.
Right.
So please, and for the last couple sentences, cross out the like.
People,
and
this is live for everyone to hear.
She does not smell like
There
that,
you
but
go.
she was smelling something like a dirty diaper smell. Anyway, so the guy comes out of the bathroom and walks back, and then this time though, the way that the air was blowing, I smelled it too, and it was gross.
Sounds like a crap in his pants at a sushi restaurant.
Well, so he goes back and sits on the high top area, and our waiter walks by, And we thought about saying something to him, and then we didn't. But then we're talking about this guy, and we're looking at him, and we're watching him, right? And we're watching. And so he sits back on this chair for a little while, and then he leaves. And our waiter comes back and gives us the check and stuff. And we thought, you know what? We're going to say something because it smelled awful. I mean, we didn't even finish our food because we lost our appetite.
Is
Like
this
it
just
smelled.
a customer?
Yeah, it was just another customer. And so we thought, you know what? The guy sat on that high top, like stool thing. So maybe we need to make sure that they sanitize it or whatever. Cause like
he was poopy.
It just smelled awful.
Say it. Say he was poopy.
Well, it was like a pee. It was like a urine smell.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's pee. Okay.
Yeah.
He peed himself. Okay.
So the waiter goes, oh, okay. Cause we just told him, we're like, hey, like this guy walked past us several times. It smelled kind of like this. I don't know. We're just thinking you might want to like sanitize just so you knew, right? You know, and he goes, oh, okay, thank you. So he went over there and I think they went to like sanitize the stool or like whatever. And he looked back at us and like made a face. So he smelled it, like at the stool. And so they literally, him and the manager took the stool like in the back, like outside because they were going to, I think, like wash it off or something. So this man must have had a diaper or something on or not. And he like peed himself all over the stool. So then he went in, we told him, he went into the bathroom too. He went into the bathroom and he came back out and got a mop and went back in. And then he came back out and he was like, yeah, he made a mess in there. So I don't know what happened in the bathroom, but anyway.
Wow.
So just a man that peed on the stool and probably peed all over the bathroom.
Poor guy.
I know. Well, I don't know. Maybe he just was a dirty guy. I don't know. But anyway, it was just,
Did you get refunded or something?
No, but we lost our appetite and stuff. Like, because it just, the smell, and then you're like, you just feel dirty then. Like everything feels dirty.
I mean, I guess I get it. It's like because a guy peed himself, which is such a random occurrence at a sushi restaurant. You'll never go there again.
Not to that one.
I don't blame you because there will be like association.
Yeah.
Like that's where he was.
I don't know.
When he did the pee walk.
It's not Rock and Roll Sushi's fault. Like they didn't do it. They cleaned everything up and stuff. Like it wasn't their fault, but it just was a bad experience. Yeah. It was the first time we were there, first time trying it and stuff. Like we weren't established customers. So yeah. Anyway.
And then you definitely weren't after that either.
No, I've never gone back since then. I would to the rest, like not to that one maybe, but like in general to the chain, but
right.
I just haven't.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's just really odd.
All right. Well, I think I have a story that's just as extreme.
Ooh.
But in a totally different way for my number 2.
Okay.
So my number 2 takes place at a Hardee's.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing against Hardee's here. I was on a trip with some friends. There seems to be another common trend with mine.
Yeah.
This was when we went to Florida, but this wasn't in Florida. We were driving back from Florida. This is when I got those really bad sunburns a couple years ago. We were driving through Georgia. So this is somewhere in rural Georgia, a Hardee's in rural Georgia. And we were just in there ordering food. We wanted to get out of the car, stretch our legs, go inside, order something quick, get back in the car, and get back on the road. And we were in line. There's a few other people in there. It wasn't that busy. But we noticed we ordered our food, and it was taking a long time. Like, nothing was happening. And the next thing we know, like, minutes go by, like, minutes. It's been like 10, 12, 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, smoke is starting to come from the back of the kitchen into the front. And everyone's like, hey, everyone needs to step outside. There's a fire. And then, I can't remember if alarms were going off or not. But it was so bad that the whole Hardee's started to smoke up like in flames. Like, I think they managed the fire. I think it was a bad grease fire.
Wait,
but
okay, hold on. You said smoke up in flames. So was the entire...
smoked up in flames.
Was the whole Hardee's in flames? The whole building?
There was a fire that got a little out of control, but they were able to tame it. But the smoke was so bad.
Okay.
That it was coming out of every angle of the building. Like, it looked like from a distance it was all on fire.
Oh, wow.
So we were in a Hardee's that caught on fire when we ordered our food. And,
oh my gosh, they're probably making your food.
and there were people in the drive-thru who were getting really mad because they didn't know.
Yeah.
They were just sitting there waiting. Like, what's going on? It's like, the building is on fire, okay? We don't have time for this right now.
Oh my gosh.
No, I can't remember how this ended up transpiring all the way through, but we still got our food.
What?
But it took like 45 minutes. But there were no other restaurants nearby. This is rural Georgia. We were hungry. So
Hungry?
we
You're
still
hungry?
got our chicken.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so the Hardee's caught on fire. And the reason why, like,
So they put the fire out and they're like, oh, back to work. Got to make these people's food. Like, that's it. Did
well,
the
yeah.
fire department come?
No.
What?
Well, maybe. I can't remember because I really, because it was so shocking that it happened. You know what I mean? I really can't remember.
Did you just block all of it out because the trauma?
Well, we were watching it like just smoke everywhere from the outside of our cars. I remember we were just eating our food, watching the remains of the smoke of the Hardee's building. Just such a weird thought.
I don't think you ever told me that.
I never told you that.
No, when you got back, you never told me that.
I just can't believe. Sorry, this is just a funny thought. Like, we're gonna see. We did get our food. It's like there's still smoke though. So just watching this building burn away as we eat the chicken. It was good though. I had chicken nuggets from there. It was yummy.
Oh my gosh,
But-
that is a crazy story.
Smoked chicken, I guess. But
I don't know why that's not your number one. That's a crazy
well,
story.
I think because like we were kind of like laughing about it. That of course like we go to like a Hardee's and that just catches on fire. Of course,
Yeah.
isn't that wild?
Yes.
But so I will say, and I won't go into it, but my number one is a completely different genre of all of this. But it's just,
Oh.
but I just want to, I guess, share it. I guess I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway,
Well, that's a really good story.
thank you.
That one's the best one, I think, so far.
Well, thanks.
I mean, it is number 2, but
I think you know my number one, but we'll find out.
okay. Well, quickly, before we jump into number ones, we'll do a couple more statistics. So it's not just food hygiene or food poisoning issues that hold people back from returning to a restaurant. Even like the negative reviews can seriously impact businesses. And, you know, businesses always say like, please give us a review. And,
Yep.
and usually, hopefully it's good because the negative ones do really impact it. So there was a study that was done from Business Wire, and they found that 75% of consumers will not visit a restaurant with negative reviews about its cleanliness. And restaurants
Yeah.
are the most negatively affected businesses by negative reviews about cleanliness, above hotels even, and doctors' offices.
Oh, sure. I totally believe that.
Yeah. I don't know, hotels though. I don't know. If you get like a bad cleanliness review for a hotel,
You got to stay somewhere.
nah,
It's different.
You
I still
pick a
think it's
different
different.
hotel.
Well, see, I don't like hotels anyway. You know that.
Yeah.
I think they're all gross.
So 60% of people read reviews before they visit a restaurant.
Say that again?
60% of people read reviews before visiting the restaurant. That seems high, doesn't it?
I'm trying to think about myself. 60%.
I do. So like when Taylor and I were in California, we were looking at new restaurants, like we didn't know the area, we looked at reviews.
So I look at stars. I don't look at reviews. If it's like an average of like 4.2 stars, yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
So you look at the words. Is that what you mean when you say reviews?
I look at the stars too, but yeah, sometimes I'll read through. If the review seems kind of low, I'll look at the reviews, like the words.
Yeah.
91% of decision makers in restaurants state that the do more with less approach would most likely continue even after the economy approved. Haha, I
What?
skipped some. I skipped one. Sorry.
Okay.
I
Come
was
on,
like,
Steph.
that doesn't make any sense.
Don't embarrass yourself.
Okay, so cleanliness is obviously important. But there was a study done in 2009 that found that when the restaurant industry slows down, cleanliness is often put on the back burner. So the study found that after the last economic recession, this is where 91% of decision makers in restaurants stated that the do more with less approach would most likely continue even after the economy improved. 85% of restaurants adopted a do more with less approach when it
With
comes
less-
to cleanliness.
Like do more with like less like cleaning materials,
I guess so.
cleaning chemicals. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. It's really about like cutting
Cutting back costs.
more. So when restaurant businesses slow down, many make the decision to cut back on cleanliness protocols. So they're not bringing in as much money, so they're not going to spend as much money on
Yeah.
cleanliness, and if they're not as busy, so they are like, okay, well, we don't have to clean the bathroom 4 times a day. We'll just do it twice.
Yeah, but there are some things that you shouldn't cheap out on. But I get it.
No, I agree, but
Is
that's
this post-pandemic?
no. This was 2009, so
2009.
it was
So that was after the recession.
yeah. So
that's why.
what,
That's why it said that.
so
That was
slow
actually
down.
probably during the recession.
Yeah, so but what they said was, which it's probably different now because that was in 2009, right? So after when it slowed down because of the recession, and then they said, well, when it picks back up, they probably won't, start cleaning more. But then through COVID, I bet that's changed everything again.
Yeah, for sure.
So
That's a large percentage.
I know though, right? It is.
Look, there could be another episode we do sometime. I know a lot. Every time I meet somebody who like works in the food industry, and you may think this is gross, but I always ask, what are the dirty secrets? I want to know, right? And I've gotten some good answers that I would love to tell.
What kind of answers? I want to know.
Well, maybe we can do another episode about it sometime when it comes up, because there's some good ones. There's one in particular that I would leave no names. I won't mention, but it's bad. So maybe sometime we can have a
Is there a specific
dirty
restaurant?
secrets of the food industry that we top 5 or something. I don't know.
Is there like a specific restaurant that this stuff happens at, or
This
is
was
this
at
like
a local little mom and pop shop back home.
Oh. Well, I don't have anything to share with those.
Well, that's okay. I'm
Those
just saying
topics.
that's something to maybe look forward to.
Okay, maybe so.
Those are interesting stats. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing them.
you're welcome. Sorry, I skipped over one.
That's okay. We figured it out. We did.
I don't have my glasses on because I don't like wearing my glasses with these headphones.
You look blind right now. Like I doesn't even look like you're looking at me. It looks like you're looking next to me.
What?
Like it looks like you're looking like right here.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm looking at you.
Are you?
Yes.
How many fingers am I holding up?
I don't know. You're like a clap.
No, I'm holding. No, it's
crab,
2.
Crab hand.
It's 2.
Okay,
Steph.
stop acting like I can see that.
What's your number 1?
Okay, my number 1. This happened at home. This is another to-go story. Actually, and I said all of them happened at restaurants except for my 5, but I lied. My number 1 happened at home.
Mhm.
My mom and I were eating dinner together, and we had ordered pizza and a salad from Memphis Pizza.
I know this one.
You remember this story?
Yeah.
And because how could you forget it?
This just happens to you guys, I swear. Like this stuff.
Yeah. So we're eating. So we always get, when we get Memphis Pizza, we love to get the full dinner salad and we split it. And then we get the pepperoni pizza with extra cheese. And that's usually just our go-to thing. And we'll share it. So we ordered it to go. We brought it home. We had both, I think we had done the yard or something that day together. Like we had worked outside together. And we're all cleaned up and gonna eat dinner. We sat down and turned a movie on, and we were eating our salad. And all of a sudden, Mom goes, "Oh, something just cut my mouth."
Oh.
And I thought, okay, I thought you're being kind of dramatic. Like maybe there was a piece of lettuce that was just like kind of hard or something, I was like, okay. And I said, "What do you mean cut your mouth?" And she was like, "I don't know." So she like had to like spit her food out because she, didn't want to swallow anything. Anyway, I said, "It's probably just like a piece of lettuce that's like, And she goes, No, it hurt. Like it was hard." And so anyway, she found it in her food, and it was a piece, like a large piece of someone's fingernail. So like when like women have like long nails, somebody was like chopping the lettuce and must have chopped the top of their fingernail off. It wasn't like a sliver of a fingernail. It was like how thick is that?
Don't
A
show me how thick that
centimeter?
is.
Centimeter tall? Like it was big.
Yeah.
And so that was in her mouth and cut the roof of her mouth, that fingernail, in her salad.
I don't like it.
No. So anyway, she called them and said, it was so funny because she called them and she wasn't ugly or anything. She was just like, I just can I speak to a manager. So the manager got on the phone and she's like, do you have like a woman, a girl back there like cutting lettuce for salad? And he's like, why? And she was like, just do you? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, well, you can let her know she's missing part of her fingernail because it was just in my salad in my mouth.
Oh my
God. And he was like, what? And she was like, yes. There was a piece of, he's like, well, they are supposed to be wearing gloves. And she's like, well, clearly, I guess they're not. So anyway, yep.
That's why, see, that's the problem is that a lot of these people are there's protocol in place.
Yeah, and they're just not following it.
They're not following it. I mean, I worked in food industry in high school. Like, we didn't always follow all that.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But, ugh, that's gross.
I know. I felt so...
Fingernail salad.
I felt so bad for her. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad. And then I felt bad for being like, oh, it's just lettuce. Like, no, it was real. There was something.
Some fingernail salad.
Oh my gosh, it was disgusting. We didn't finish, so we couldn't keep eating. We just were like, this just ruins the whole thing. And he was like, we'll give you a free pizza. Like, we're not gonna come back. Like, we don't want any more pizza. Like,
I will definitely still get Memphis pizza because I think it's good.
Well,
pizza.
So we have gone back
exactly.
Since then.
Thank you.
But it took about 2 years.
Was that long ago?
Yeah.
It was like 8 months ago.
No, it was not. No, it wasn't.
Okay, I believe you.
No, it was several years ago. And and now we go there sometimes, but we don't go there nearly as often as we used to.
I understand. Because even though it's likely that will never happen there again with you.
But the memory
is there. It's kind of like if you get like food poisoning.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
But that doesn't stop you.
No, but I'm just saying in general. Like, you get food poisoning, and then you just think you can never eat that again, even though you're just associating it with the memory, which is interesting, but...
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so excited to hear your number one.
Well, I guess it's time to go. So you guys don't hear this, but, like, the music was just playing our theme song, and I accidentally had it in the audio timeline in the wrong spot. We must be going a little late, but that's okay. Okay, so my number one is totally different departure, not even really comparable to what you just said, your story.
Okay.
So mine takes place, I would have been in high school. So it's a long time ago now. And this was at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for the record, I really have always loved Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm a big wings person. And this is during the time where I started to really expand my palate. And I was tasting lots of different things, and I wanted to taste new things, and I started to get into the really hot stuff.
Oh.
Okay.
That's dangerous territory.
It is dangerous, but I love hot. You know, I love it. So I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was either the second hottest or the hottest.
Oh my gosh.
Because around that time, I'll do that now, I'll get the hottest. But the hottest, the problem with that is that, little side note, I like flavor, and that's just hot. So I usually do the second hottest because it's still got a little bit of flavor in it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the hottest is probably all you...
It's just heat.
It's just, yeah.
It's just the spicy heat. So that being said, I'm going to assume I did the second hottest. I was with some classmates. This was a school trip for something. Can't remember exactly what it was. But we were split up with teachers. So, like, there was a bunch of teachers, and, like, each teacher had, like, a van with, like, 6 kids in it, right? It was small school. It might sound crazy to people, but there was only, like, 24 of us going to wherever we were going. Okay, so very small. So I was me and the other 6 students and then the teacher, and we all went to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I got the hottest or second hottest wings. And I remember like I went through all of them, and I ate a lot at the time. I was a growing boy. And I just remember thinking, I just don't feel that good. It's really hot. It's hot in my stomach. This isn't going to go right. And everyone was like, do you need to go to the bathroom? Like, it was like, no, I'm okay. I think I'll be fine. Let's go back home. So we're heading home.
Oh, no.
So we go back into the car. So we get in there. Everyone closes the door. And before we leave, I say, hold on. Unlock the car doors. I have to go. I have to go. I think I'm gonna throw up. Like, it's getting really bad.
Yeah.
So this must have been maybe my first time eating this. I can't remember. But so I get out and I start dry heaving up to the building. So I'm not even in the building. I'm like trying to vomit nothing. Okay.
But that's so weird because you just ate. Usually when you eat and you're like gagging, like you throw up what you ate. Like,
I know. I think my body, I don't know if it's just a response. I don't know what it was. So I'm like literally, because the thought of it's funny to me. I'm dry heaving up. There's a long parking lot, right?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just, and it's like 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Customers are walking into Buffalo Wild Wings. It's like, hey, try the mango habanero. It's good. You know what I mean? So I'm dry heaving up to the front door, and I was going to try and make it to the bathroom, so I started to walk in. There's customers walking into it. It's so funny.
See, I would have never tried to walk in when I was already gagging.
Well,
I would
listen,
have just stood outside.
I had to puke. I thought, right? So then I realized I'm not going to make it. It's about to really happen.
Oh, no.
So I took a step back out, and then I puked in a bush to the left of the door while people are walking in.
Oh.
Now, the weird thing was this, and I'm not going to I won't get too descriptive, I promise, okay? But I vomited basically nothing, but I still vomited, so it was clear. It was a clear liquid.
I feel like, is that like stomach acid or something?
It was a clear liquid with a little bit of like, never mind.
Yeah, that's pretty descriptive.
It was a clear liquid, but like it looked like I saw a little bit of what I just ate. A little bit too.
A little, okay.
But it was mainly clear. It usually vomits like a really gross color.
Yeah.
It wasn't. So was it stomach acid? Was my body just like, you don't ever do this again?
I don't know what it was.
Isn't that
Maybe
weird?
it was some kind of mucus or something. I don't know.
After that, I felt fine. Went home, but I just puked in the bush and I left.
Don't you know those people walking in? Okay, you're their story.
They have a story to tell. Like, remember that time when we went into a Buffalo Wild Wings, the little redhead kid puked in the bush next to the door?
Yeah, I bet some people probably walk back out because you don't know. Are you getting sick because of the food?
Right.
Like, did you, which yes, but also that was like your own fault. But like, are you getting sick because of food or like,
that's so funny.
I think of it is funny. That's hilarious. That's a very hilarious story. Really, I've never heard that before, and I like.
I never told you that story?
No, I like that story a lot.
I did. Okay.
But I feel like if I was walking into a restaurant and somebody was dry heaving up to the door
I would leave.
and throwing up, I don't think I'd eat there.
It's bad press.
Yeah.
Or even just watching the guy just trying to vomit up to the door.
I don't understand why you walked to the door. Like, I would have just gone to the grass on the parking lot.
When you're dry heaving in a Buffalo Wild Wings, parking lot in central Illinois, you're not thinking about where you just gotta go.
You're just panicking.
And I'm thinking I want to be courteous and not puke in the front of their building. That's what I was thinking, but then I realized I couldn't make it.
Oh my gosh.
And I felt great afterwards, though.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's why I think it was such a fast reaction. I'm wondering if it's just like, my body just
I don't know.
saying, trying to reject it, but I couldn't. I don't know.
Trying to reject it? I don't know. I don't know.
So there
really.
you go.
That's weird. That's a good number.
That was
one,
the
though.
same Buffalo Wild Wings. Maybe this will come up in another story where I was, because I associate this memory with it for some reason, even though it's two different times. I was dating a girl, and I didn't have the money to pay for our meal one time.
What?
And we went out.
What did you do? I've never heard this story either.
To be honest with you, I'll tell it another time. I have to go back and really remember because I can't remember what happened.
You don't remember who paid? Did she pay?
Maybe. I think I still paid somehow,
Or
but I
did
had
you
to like
have to
get
do
money
dishes?
somehow. No, I didn't have to do dishes. But the only issue is that like this is before you could do bank transfers like on your phone. This is before that. And I guess I forgot to do the transfer I needed to do at my bank. So maybe I had to go to the bank and then come back or something. I can't remember, but anyway, I was so embarrassed because this is like a new date.
When you remember that, I want to know.
Okay, I'll tell you. But anyway, that is our worst, and probably her, worst restaurant experiences. Please tell us yours at the 2Piece Pod. Also, please let us know other top fives you'd like for us to do. Our topics are picked by you, so if you're dying to know what our top 5 favorite kinds of wood are, now's your chance to ask. Mine's mahogany.
I like zebra wood.
Zebra wood?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so, that reminds me of your dad for some reason.
Well, yeah, because he does the duck calls.
Right.
So he
and
has
zebra
all
wood's
the-
really nice, fancy, rare, expensive wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I like it.
So she likes it because she likes expensive, fancy things.
It's my style. I'm just kidding.
She's kidding. Kind of.
Yeah, well, it depends.
But yeah, so this is always, once again, our ideas are funded by you. So let us know. Also, really quick right before.
How many alsos do we have in here?
A lot of alsos. Also, make sure just to do the things before we're about to pick our next topic, but just do the things. If you're listening on Spotify, give us that 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a subscription. Subscribe. Click the like button. Smash the bell. Whatever else they say. Anywhere else, just tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to chat at the 2-Piece Pod. Or thank you for watching. Thank you for watching on YouTube. It is late and I am tired, and it is time for us to go, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Why don't
Was
you
the
give me a
correct.
drum roll, Steph, and we will we'll randomly draw the next topic.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am ready now.
What is it?
This is gonna be good. Our top 5 favorite albums.
Oh. Because we've already done music.
We've only done top 5 favorite genres.
This will be good.
This will be good. Totally different. A departure. But you're going to have to look forward to that next time. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the 2-Piece Podcast, and we'll see you around soon. Bye.
Bye.